Hi, this is Vicki again. This is the second video that we have right now that's to be uploaded to my YouTube channel. Today, we're going to talk about your tyrannical social services organization. A little background to give you a reason why I'm making this video in particular. I do have a history with social services. When I was a child, very young, I was sexually molested and then sold as a prostitute by my father. When I turned him in and everything, I had an open social services case forever. When I aged out, I still found myself in a basic addiction that just continued to grow. Found myself in abusive relationship after abusive relationship. So I had a history of I had a history that required social services to remove my children from my home. However, I did do what I was supposed to do and got them back after a very hard struggle. And ever since then, I have never looked back. That was 2007. That's almost 10 years now. I have also been clean and sober for 10 years. I did go to prison. I am a convicted felon. I went to prison on minor possession charges, if you believe it or not. I was released on parole. I walked my parole, keep a job, never failed a drug test, did everything I was supposed to do. Never had a problem after that. Didn't even drive over the speed limit but once, and I got a ticket, and it scared the hell out of me, and so I decided no more. Anyway, so that's several years gone now. So we're talking 10 years plus in the past right now. In the meantime, my children, 2 of them, fell into active addiction and had their 2 children removed from them. And those 2 children were placed in the joint custody of my mother and myself. One of those grandchildren who turned out to be a special needs child, not really special needs, but she wasn't quite as advanced as the other kids her age. She proved to be a little more than my mother could handle. So my mother relinquished her custody. And instead of giving that child to me, they decided to put her in foster care. Why? Because of my history, my drug abuse history, my history of being in an abusive relationship, so on and so forth. So here we are. My granddaughter is now in foster care. My daughter is incarcerated. And at this point, my daughter really has no chance to get her back because we don't have the money to fund the legal campaign that she's going to need to get her child back. I've had social services at my home. My home has never been dirty. I've always complied with social services. Never been short of food. Always kept the bills paid. Always had a job. Always had a car. Kids always had everything they needed and pretty much everything they wanted. So there should have never been a problem. However, my youngest daughter, who was one of those that fell into active addiction and had her child removed from her, was in my house one night, and when I discovered she was high, I told her she had to leave. She didn't like that. Didn't like that at all. So what she did, as she was storming out of my house after she had thrown numerous furniture items and other things around the home, scaring all the kids half to death, and I had 4 in the home at the time, she decided to turn around and look at me and say, "I will cost you everything. All the kids, everything." She says, "You will not have anything." And she did just that. The very next day, she called into social services making false allegations that the kids were abused, neglected, that I was living in a domestically violent relationship, there was substance abuse issues in the home, so on and so forth. However, when the investigation was underway, they found there was never any domestic violence. They did that by checking police records and such, and believe me, I live in a very large apartment complex. If there had been any form of domestic violence, the police would have been called at some point, but they never were. My husband and I both passed drug tests, so on and so forth. However, they decided that because of my history and such, that I was not fit to have this child. so they put her in foster care. Now, I still don't have the money to fund the campaign that I need to get her back. I don't know how I'm going to make it, but I need to come up with it somehow, because I'm completely right in this. However, in the process, this is just another way your rights are being violated. They violated the right to your rights, or my rights, I should say, to due process by not investigating who made the report, and the report was not made anonymously. The worker told me so herself, sitting in my home, but of course when we got in court, she absolutely denied ever saying that, which is against, what she's supposed to be doing anyway. I think she slipped up because she says when so-and-so, I'm not mentioning any names, legal problem, made this report, and I said, oh, okay. And of course when we got in court, that was not who made the report, and so on and so forth. Anyway, so they violated my rights to due process by not following through with a thorough investigation to find out the complete circumstances. They violated my rights to, they came into my home one day when my two oldest children, 12 and 13, were here by themselves, and in every state, 12 and 13 is quite old enough to be at home by yourself for an hour. They told my kids they didn't have any choice but to let them in the house, when in fact my kids did. My kids don't have to let them in the house, not without a warrant, yet my children didn't know that, and social services resorted to scare tactics, and they took, they pretty much bullied their way into my home. Just several things. If you're talking about slander, libel, if you want to get down into the minor scale of things, but regardless, either way it goes, rights are violated. If I ever get the campaign or the money to fund a campaign, I will file a federal SOX. I will see to it that they are brought up on federal charges. However, in the meantime, my granddaughter is now in foster care. Now, the strange thing is, when we get into court, it was brought up that I had filed 2 complaints because these reports were 3 months past when they were supposed to be completed. No one ever filed for extensions or anything, and now all of a sudden the reports can't be found. They're still open, it's still an open case, but the reports in and of themselves can't be found, and they don't know, what facts that they've dug up here and there, so that therein lies the problem. Anyway, so this report is lost out here in cyberspace somewhere, I guess, I don't know. So if anybody sees it, would you please direct it back where it's supposed to go? However, because of that, the judge decided that it was too risky for my kids to be in, or for this child to be in my home, and now she is now another victim of the system. She is in a foster care system that is neither caring nor regretful of the homes that they destroy. It is a fact, folks, whether they tell you it is or not. Every state gets a bonus for children that they place in foster care, which leads to permanent removal. Not only does the state get those bonuses, but the workers do too. So what is their motivation? So what we have here is a legal child trafficking ring, and somebody needs to stand up and say enough is enough. And Americans, this is that time where we have to say enough is enough, because I can understand it happening to me. Because I see how they see me. I understand that it's odds I've been fighting all my life. But you people that out there, upper middle class America, upper class, make no mistake, if they want you, they're going to get you. And they're going to do it by any way necessary, and you have no repercussions because they're under immunity. However, let me let you know that if you do manage to bring a federal suit against them, that immunity is lifted. Just FYI. So anyway, that's what we're up against today, and we all need to stop, and we need to see what's really going on. We need to see everything for what it is. And with that, I will end this, and I will be back another time with another video. Hope you guys have a great afternoon. Like, subscribe, share. Have a great afternoon. God bless you all.